Hey everybody, this is Matt with Option Omega. Thanks for checking out this video. We are going to do some back testing here and look at a trade that it's a little clickbaiting the title, but it says nobody talks about this zero DTE trade. And it's not true that nobody talks about it, but nearly nobody talks about it. And I'm shocked that more people aren't investigating this type of trade. We're going to back into it. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to run a back test since dailies, just using standard 1 minute data. We're not going intermittent. We're not doing anything crazy. And we're going to load up a short straddle here. And we are going to do a percentage out of the money, 0. And we're going to make it a 30 DTE. Nope. We're going to make it a 0 DTE. And we are also going to cap the contract at 1. I'm not actually doing this to run a back test to prove a idea or not prove an idea. I'm going to use this as an example. We're just going to do 1 contract. Okay, that's it. And we're going to need some more money because it's naked. And again, this is not a back test that is designed to actually show how well this does. I'm going to put some fees and commissions. This is a standard structure that folks have, $1.78 and 78. I'm going to do 10 cents of entry slippage. Okay, so this is extremely simple. This is just a straight up, what does it look like? Oh, the other thing I want to do, let's do this. Let's change the entry time to right after open. So 9:32, which is the earliest minute of options data that we have. It's pretty noisy at the 9:31 and prior ticks. So the 9:32 data, we're going to run this back since dailies. So almost 2.5 years now. And this is exactly what you would kind of expect. A really choppy, ugly chart. It looks like there's a lot of variation in it, but if you look at the y-axis, there's actually not much at all. So if you look at it in the log graph, it's even clearer. If you just sell a naked straddle, so an at the money straddle, just every day, mechanically, you're selling a straddle. So some days we get movement, some days barely moves at all. Okay, super straightforward, nothing magical. It's got big drawdowns. You're actually up this year. Let's do the inverse of that. We're going to stick with 1 contract. We're just going to buy premium. Before I do that, though, let me just show this is exactly what you would expect, right? The smartest minds in the world, the best algos, the best technology go into pricing options. So this is exactly what you would expect. This really, really tiny edge that would have heart-rending drawdowns, pretty ugly drawdowns. At times, maybe when you have a couple days in a row where you get absolutely blown out. Then again, they might not even be that heart-rending, but here's the point. This is capped. It's 1 contract each. It is designed to show you one thing. It's designed to show you that in general, yeah, since dailies, I mean, you can argue that the at-the-money pricing kind of makes sense. You can kind of see how it is. It's a slight edge to selling premium. If we do the inverse of that back test, now we are going to buy the long straddle. So we're just taking literally the opposite side of the trade. So our assumption would be it's going to be just a little bit worse. And that's exactly what it is. It's a little bit worse. So the graph looks kind of ugly, but again, if you look at where the y-axis is, you know, it's nothing you would want to do regularly. There's no edge to doing this mechanically. Obviously, there's no edge. If it was so simple, people would just buy straddles every day, right? Here's what's crazy. There is an idea that's not that dissimilar from this. That is pretty simple for a debit trade and that has done well historically. And that's why I'm surprised why nobody really talks about it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go in here. We're going to add a call and a put that we sell. And we're going to do 0.5% out of the money. So this will allow us to scale through time. So 0.5% now is going to be, you know, probably 30 points. The SPX is right around 6,000 just after the US elections at the end of 2024. Who knows what it'll be in the future? We're going to leave everything else the same every single day. 10 cents extra entry slippage is still fine. These options are extremely liquid. So we keep trucking. Well, let's run this back test. Probably still not going to be great, but we will find out here shortly. Again, we're running this over 2.5 year periods in daily. So interestingly, almost a dead scratch. This is about as close to a scratch as you can get. And again, I'm just using the backtester here to show point. Here's the actual thing that we want to look at. Let's do this at 2.5%. We're going to take this back down from 1 million to 100,000. We're going to uncap. Okay. So that was to prove a point. And here, let's run this to get our baseline before we iterate on that. So all I'm doing right now is I'm uncapping it. There's going to be much more wildness in the graph, right? Because it's uncapped. So it's going to have higher highs, lower lows, bigger drawdown, etc. After we do this, there you go, 13% drawdown. So yeah, I mean, it's got sequence risk, obviously. Pretty choppy chart, not something that you would really want to trade. If you were looking at this, it doesn't seem to be anything mechanical. Here is the simple change. And this sounds so clickbaity, but all we're going to do is we're going to go into VIX under the entry conditions and do a min overnight move down. And we're just going to do a 0.01. So a penny down overnight. That's all we're going to do. And let's see what it does to this chart, which has been a very small loser, but a loser. And again, this is about as simple as you can get for a mechanical backtest. We're not filtering days, nothing. And look at that. What an absolute change. This is crazy to me. This is crazy. So a shout out to a friend of Option Omega, the navigation trading community. If you're not familiar with them, they are friends of OO. You should definitely go check him out. And I'm going to give him credit, Steve, for the name Rick, Reverse Iron Condor. So that's the name that he uses to describe this trade setup. So check out navigation. But Ricks, let's talk about Ricks for a second. So iron condors, like when people start trading mechanically, they usually learn spreads. They usually learn credit spreads, selling a put spread. Then they might sell a call spread and turn that into an iron condor. That's all this is. It's an iron condor. It's just a reversed iron condor, a Rick. So all we're doing every day without fail, if VIX is down at all, we are buying an at the money put and an at the money call, and then we are selling a short leg 0.5% of the market away. On days when you get a big move, you're going to hit the edge of the strike of the short. Right, here's one, these big round numbers. That is super common. And here's the thing, this can go to zero. Now, it probably won't go exactly to zero, but you can have days when you get absolutely wrecked. Here, this is what, an 80, 90% loser. Here's another one. This is probably 80% loser right here. And then some of the days it's going to be expensive and you're barely going to make anything. So these are small winners. But here's the point. This is a dead simple concept. We can run it back even farther if we want. Now, it's going to trade less pre-dailies. So this is going to give us data, but it's going to be a little bit different data because you're trading it a lot less. But again, we are not fitting this at all. There's no other VIX condition other than just a move down. There's no day. We're not checking to see if Mercury is in retrograde. We are not wondering what Tesla is doing. We don't care about NVIDIA's P&L. It's just a mechanical thing every single day. What's crazy, and we could keep running this back even farther, but that's not the point I want to make. The point I want to make is that nobody talks about these. And there are hundreds, thousands, probably tens of thousands of videos you can watch on all different sorts of iron condors and how to trade them. And almost all of them are short condors. And so the point of this video is I do not understand why the level of attention that short condors have gotten, why long condors or reverse condors or Ricks have not gotten a fraction of the amount of attention. Because again, this is at 2.5% of the portfolio. I'm uncapping it, but basically you're starting out buying one of these, and then eventually you might buy more at the beginning because it was cheaper. Yeah, wow, it was cheaper, a lot cheaper. But you're going to buy 1 to 2 of these through a lot of the tests. Yeah, here's 1, here's 2. You're just going to buy a couple of these. It can go to 0. Your winners are capped, but it's still over couple of years, it's had positive expectancy. These are super liquid. You know what you're not dealing with. You're not dealing with stop loss. You don't have to fight stop loss slippage. You're literally putting it on, carrying it to expiration. That's it. That is all you're doing. And for such a simple concept, it is mind-blowing to me that we don't see more people talk about it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to save this. We'll call this Simple Rick. And I will put the link to Simple Rick in the description below. As always, if you like and subscribe this video, please give us feedback on the Discord, email, comments below. We read them, we look at them, we appreciate them. And check us out on the OO community where there are a lot of people trading Ricks. We might do some more videos because here's the thing. There's so many things you can do to this backtest to make it interesting. You could change the deltas. Maybe you don't want to be at the money. You can change the widths. Maybe one side should be skewed. You can even change the ratio. Does it make sense to buy 2 of one of these legs instead of another? Is there a small amount of fitting that we could do that would make sense that wouldn't overfit the test? These are all things that we can explore in future videos. So thank you for watching. Please drop us a note, like and subscribe, optionomega.com. Thanks.